Hi, and welcome back to the Self-Actualization in the Age of Crisis chapter summary series. I'm your host, Ron Rivers, and today we're going to be discussing chapter 2, section Core Values. So all spiritual technologies really empower their communities and themselves through sets of unifying principles, right? Core values that unite the individual and collective alike in kind of becoming more towards their shared vision of the good. Self-actualization in the age of crisis is no different. Our objective is to kind of develop a set of values in alignment with the single truth in the relational universe that further our capacity to transcend the age of crisis. Values that, through our embrace of them and our practice, help further the development of our personal powers and our journey towards individual actualization. The values that we're going to kind of discuss today, the objective is to frankly, to embody them to such a degree that they change our personal behavior, and in doing so, help spread that change throughout the universe, right? When we embody and embrace these values, they reflect in our actions and therefore spread that intent throughout the universe and throughout other people in the world. Ultimately, the development of new core values is in many ways a high effort to really deeply align ourselves with the relational universe governed by the single truth. At the same time, it is really a development of our powers of divinity, right? Our powers of expressing that which makes us whole and united with the collective totality of the moment. So when we think about systems of core values, we recognize that all spiritual technologies, religions, reinforce core values that really carry the imprint of the moment of their creation. What I mean by that is they were designed to meet the needs of a specific people or group of people within a specific human time experience that is far distant from our immediate present. And I think this is really relevant because, as we talked about in the crisis of doubt, desire, death, and dogmas, the salvation religions reinforce values that are frankly inadequate to meet the needs of the moment and in many ways reinforce our path towards the age of crisis. They are responsible for much of the challenges that we face today, and we cannot transcend the crisis by embodying the same values that brought us to it as a means of transcendence. That's not compatible. So that's kind of at the root of why we're developing our own new set of core values in alignment with the single truth in the relational universe. Consider also that the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, all of these texts are manuals of war. And I mean that in the most literal sense. They are each about retaking Holy Land. They are about the subjugation and conquest of outsiders, of otherness. And that's really central to these salvation religions, is the perpetuation of otherness. And so in that sense, the idea that these are hierarchical spiritual philosophies that project rigid hierarchies onto the world. So there's no overcoming that if we're embracing that as the ultimate truth, right? The narratives of these texts project, there is no overcoming the crisis, right? That is exactly what brought us to the crisis. So I really want to emphasize the why behind why we're developing new core values. The ones that we have available are inadequate to express human divinity to its greatest degree, and therefore they must be discarded. So when we think about this reimagined spirituality and these reimagined core values, it's all about a philosophy that is applicable in practice to really align our divinity within the moment, right? To further align ourselves with the single truth in the relational universe. And I'm going to talk about these core values, but you're going to notice up front that it's a broad kind of framework. It's not a blueprint. So I want to emphasize, these are about making these core values your own. I'm not going to tell you exactly what must be done. This is not a system of value based on coercion as we're commonly used to. There's no eternal punishment if you don't embody these values. What I'm arguing is that through the embodiment of the values we're going to discuss, you will become more in ways that are not presently possible, under the current spiritual philosophies and technology. We're tying our core values to our divinity, right? It's imagination, it's choice and creation. And we reject otherness on the onset through our value set and embrace the wholeness, the totality that we share with every other being on this planet, whether they be human or otherwise, right? All of us exist as these perpetual snapshots, these moments that extend infinitely out in the cosmos. And perhaps most importantly, right, this reimagination of values and meaning really separates us from subjugation to a God of our own making. in that we're no longer bound to these artifacts of the past that we had no say in crafting. Instead, we focus on really prioritizing divinity within life, and prioritizing and maximizing our capacity to become more, to spread our imagination throughout the universe in a collective way where it raises the floor for everyone, and in doing so maximizes individual capacity within the moment.